Welcome back to Recent Reels. Today we are doing Free Guy, directed by Sean Levy, and The Suicide Squad, directed and written by James Gunn.
Yeah.
All right, let's kick it off with Free Guy.
Want to start with Free Guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anybody kick it off?
I guess I'm going to take a back seat on this one slightly, just because I know first impressions coming out of the movie theater for me just didn't live up to my hopes and expectations, and I don't want that to just become like the opinion. So I think I'm just going to like chill for a little bit.
Okay.
Fair enough.
What'd you guys think?
I thought it was fun. I thought it was, I don't know, it didn't, as far as like video game based movies go, I think it did an okay job.
Yeah.
Again, like I was kind of saying earlier, I was worried it was going to be a Ryan Reynolds fest and just like him just kind of, shooting off
Doing
one-liners
his story.
and yeah, like, I mean, there's like I don't know, all the lines where he's like, I think my tongue just had a baby, like, had a baby in my mouth, or whatever. I can't even remember.
That's totally just Ryan Reynolds making up weird stuff to say.
Yeah,
100%.
it's just him kind of doing his thing or whatever.
Which is kind of sad. I mean, I didn't see the movie, but it's kind of sad that he gets that, that stigma now, because I think he
Right.
can be funny.
Right.
Like,
Oh,
he
he's
has
hilarious.
good timing. He can be super funny, but he gets stuck in that where everyone's like, oh, he's playing.
He's Deadpool,
Deadpool.
now. Yeah.
Right.
Ever since Deadpool, I guess that's kind of what boosted his career.
Right.
It definitely
For
gave him like
sure.
a second wind of
Right.
some sort. Yeah.
Right.
So I guess he gets kind of stuck in that rut of.
Yeah.
You
You
know.
kind of went in knowing what to expect.
Right.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I feel like I enjoyed it a lot, but I feel like I've seen other movies like it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like the feeling of coming out of that theater. I was like, oh my God, that was good. And then me and my friend talked about it. We're like, oh yeah. I don't know if I like it as much anymore,
Right.
but I
Yeah.
still enjoyed it. Like I would watch it again. and
Yeah, I would.
stuff.
I would
Yeah.
definitely watch it. It's definitely something you can throw on
Yeah.
if you have like friends over or something, and it's like fun
It's a
because you
fun
can catch
movie.
fun moments in
Yeah.
it and
Yeah.
that kind of thing. My biggest problem with it after like the day or two after seeing it, I was like, how like down the road how much of it am I gonna remember? And
I don't really remember a lot of it.
right. That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, it just I'm not a whole lot stuck. It
Yeah.
felt fun, like it felt like a popcorn flick,
Right.
like,
For sure.
which is
Like a Dwayne Johnson film.
yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much. And like I love The Rock, like
Right.
Right.
Who's not entertained, right?
Right.
Rampage. Shit.
Exactly, man.
Except Jungle Cruise, but we
I haven't
won't go
seen
back to
that,
dark
but-
place.
Oh,
Yeah.
we talked about that one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
we
haven't
ripped that
seen
one
that
apart.
one yet. I'll see it when I don't have to pay for it on Disney.
Yeah,
30
$30
After
fucking
paying for
dollars.
Disney already.
What a
Yeah.
joke.
Yeah.
Sorry.
For me, the reason I was actually pretty hyped for this movie, I knew it was coming out maybe like a year ahead of time, 2 years ahead of time when I heard about it.
Yeah.
Because this is like an idea or like a story idea or a screenplay idea that I've had for like years. Like the NPC of a video game, like realizing he's an NPC.
Yeah.
That's just like a fun story I've had in my mind for a long time, and I'm sure a lot of people have had that kind of story. So maybe my expectations were a little too high for it, but it like took a approach to the movie that I don't think I would have taken personally. And a lot of it rested on the fact of like the writer clearly decided that like the AI coming to life and being like a conscious thing was like the most important part of that story. And I can see why you would explore that in the story. I just don't think it's like the most entertaining route to take for the movie. Like it wasn't entertaining to me as much as more as like an idea that they're trying to explore that wasn't achieved fully.
So
Yeah.
were they trying to make it more serious than it had to be? Is that what
It
you're trying
was
to
it was
say?
like jokey and comedy, but like
They tried to give it that serious storyline?
I mean they
Yeah,
took the
there's-
premise of the AI coming to life seriously, but within the world they took it too seriously too, because like
Okay.
Yeah.
the people in the world know that this guy is like he's like some random character in the world or whatever,
Yeah.
but they don't know he's an AI or whatever.
He starts to trend. That's like the storyline,
Yeah.
right? It's like there's like the in-game storyline, and then there's the people behind the game. That's the
Yes.
other storyline you follow. And
I think I would not have taken a dual story approach as much as they did.
yeah,
I would have kept it more in the game
Yeah.
personally,
I
just to
think
like explore like the build up to like realizing he's an AI or like realizing and like more contained within the story, because they jump to like real world a lot. It's like
Right.
it's half the story, and I just wasn't given enough to really care about those characters
Yeah.
or that storyline to like get behind it enough to justify why it was given so much screen time.
I feel that.
Maybe that's just me, but
I can feel that. Yeah, because like that's another little. If I had to nitpick, I was like they didn't. There's like in the game world you have the fun, you have all the VFX that are like pop and
Yeah.
the funny game he's an NPC, so he can't really die, and like he can
Yeah.
kind of take hits and do all the goofy stuff. But they didn't capitalize on the like, I don't know, the GTA-esque thing. You know, I wanted to see when he was like trying to level up to, you know, impress the girl.
Right.
I wanted to see like, I don't know, just maybe missions or that move
Yeah.
the plot forward more.
Yeah,
I
it happened
guess.
quite fast.
Right.
Yeah, I was like,
definitely.
oh, he's already in level whatever.
Yeah, he just started like racking them up, and
Yeah.
I was like, well, you should use this as a device to develop the characters too.
Right.
It felt like, you know, it just kind of felt, I don't know, they just kind of overlooked it, I think, on that part. But
I don't know. A big thing is like almost immediate too, and I'm wondering why. Maybe I just like soured myself on this movie, which happens in viewings for me sometimes. If I don't come in with the right like mindset, it's not going to land the way it should have. But immediately I was like, I don't think Ryan Reynolds is supposed to be this character. Like, maybe it was just me. I don't think he was the right pick for this role. And I don't know. It's like Free Guy, is supposed to be like such a generic AI background dude, and he's like the most handsome man you've ever met. And it's just too off-putting Ryan Reynolds' style for what the character was trying to be. Like you said, he's trying to do like jokes and stuff. But in my mind, an AI doesn't do anything. You know, so like, it's just I wasn't really behind Reynolds right at the start of it. I don't know if that was just me.
So you think if it was somebody else, you might have not
I
been
think
as
I
turned
would've-
off?
I think I would have cared a little more.
Yeah.
yeah, who's I forget the actor's name, but the guy who plays Steve in Stranger Things. He's part
Oh.
he's a part of the
Joe?
Joe Keery?
Yeah.
Joe Keery.
Yeah.
I would have like, just because I don't know, maybe he's not I guess the hype level of
Right.
Reynolds. I could have seen him being that lanky average NPC
Right.
gamer dude
Yeah.
who
But he's
like
not a bad actor.
played that role exactly. Like he was actually okay in
He was
that
fine,
role
yeah.
too. I thought.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, someone just more, I guess, everyday common man, not
That's what
not
I-
someone who's been on the most, you know, Vanity Fair most handsome man of the
Right.
year or whatever.
I think I
don't
was
know.
just missing that relatability a little bit.
A little
Yeah.
bit.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Interesting.
feel like they relied too much on like you said, Ryan Reynolds being Free
Yeah.
Guy.
Right.
Because I mean, the whole movie, you kind of like, because Channing Tatum was in it,
Yeah.
and like they had like a Captain America
A lot of cameos.
Yeah.
thingy, and
Yeah.
then the Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
And at the moment, I was like, heck yes! I
Right.
know, like all this stuff is so fun.
Yeah.
But at the end, I feel like that's probably why a lot of people liked it.
That's, I mean,
Yeah.
the Captain America stuff and the lightsaber stuff. At this point, it's towards the end of the movie, so I was like, I already know what this movie is.
Yeah.
But it was fun. Like, it's like hard to like you're saying, it's like hard to decide if that's like a good part of the movie or a bad for
Right.
me, because like it felt so like unearned and shoehorned at that
Same.
point.
Yeah.
Like
That-
fan service, perhaps?
They
Yeah,
literally, he
something
pulls out
like
a
that.
Captain America shield.
Yeah.
Then he pulls out a lightsaber.
And a
then
Hulk
then
fist.
a Hulk
Yeah.
fist, and
Oh,
he
yeah.
pulls out a Fortnite bat or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is like
Like
clearly
action
just
hero.
pandering to young people.
Yeah, and Chris
Gotcha.
Evans was in it too. Like,
Chris Evans has a
Ah,
surprise cameo.
That's right. yeah.
Pandering.
And
Forgot about
it was a really funny moment. It's just so random in that moment
Yeah.
that it's
Yeah.
like, okay.
It almost felt like Ryan Reynolds being like poking fun at Marvel, you know, as
Yeah.
the Deadpool dude or whatever.
Yeah.
And it was just like, really? Like,
He does that
we got to
enough
go
in-
there? Like,
in the
I don't know.
Deadpool
Just,
movies.
yeah. What's that?
I said he does that enough in the Deadpool movie.
Right.
Yeah,
Right. Like,
so-
that's the platform to do it.
Right.
Right.
You know, like, I don't know.
The horse is
Um,
dead.
And I guess I don't know how popular of an opinion this will be, but this is the first movie I've ever seen with Taika Waititi that I was like, I don't want you to be in this movie anymore. Like,
Yeah.
I've loved Taika Waititi. It's this role for him was the worst role I've seen him do.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't seen everything he's done, but it was just so, he was like, his character was like trying to just be like a generic dickish like company owner.
Mm-hmm.
But he's trying to play it like so like silly and weird to like cover up for the bad writing that he's clearly given.
right.
Yeah.
But it's like nothing landed with Taika Waititi in this movie.
Yeah.
For me personally, I know some people are probably different.
Same. He kind of just touched a nerve, I felt like,
Yeah.
which maybe was the point he was going for, but it just didn't, it didn't feel good. Like, it didn't.
Don't make him the antagonist of like a feel good movie. He just doesn't fit that role.
Nope.
Yeah.
I was like thinking, because I was like, I don't know if I want to follow Ryan Reynolds. I was like, what if Taika Waititi and Reynolds switched roles in this movie? I think this movie would be so much better,
Right.
like instantly. Like Ryan Reynolds being like the dickish company
Yeah.
owner, having fun with it,
Yeah.
and then Taika doing his weird AI shit. Like
That'd
this is
be
weird.
awesome.
That I was like
Yeah.
thinking that halfway through. I was like, this is not fitting, right? Like it's just
Right.
not fitting. So-
Reynolds being the good-looking CEO asshole.
Yeah,
You know,
it totally
It
fits.
reminds me of Tropic Thunder, how Tom Cruise is the dick.
Yes. Yeah.
It's Tom
Oh,
Cruise,
God.
and you're thinking, oh, this is Tom Cruise, but he's
Yeah.
the
Right.
asshole. So I can
Yeah.
see. I mean, obviously, I didn't see the movie,
Yeah.
but I can see what you're saying, and that's.
Yeah.
I could see Ryan Reynolds being
falling into that
Yeah.
role a little more.
that could be even
Easily
more
is.
fun. I,
Right.
mean, for
I was
his
like,
character.
I think it just needed more fun. It just didn't have like the injection of entertainment that I thought I would get out of the movie.
Mhm.
If that's
I feel that.
if
Yeah.
that makes sense.
I feel like they just filled the blanks, kind of. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
okay, main guy, Ryan Reynolds. You know, I
Right.
think, but I agree with Matt about Taika. I thought I was gonna be like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna root for Taika because you know villains are usually always the best
of
characters.
course,
Yeah.
most,
But
most
I
relatable.
exactly.
Right.
But I was like, Taika, no, no thanks.
Yeah, I mean, I think I just also like on a storytelling structure problem I had, like he's the antagonist to the story and to all the characters, but ultimately he didn't even serve Guy, the protagonist of the story. He served Millie, which is like
Yeah.
to me it's just like that there's something wrong in your story if the antagonist is completely disconnected from your protagonist.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So like at the end of it when he's
Oh,
doing
man.
stupid shit and he's like hitting the servers
Dude.
with the axe
Mhm.
and stuff like that. Like
That was something that kind of threw me off too. Was dude, like this deep faked buff version
Dude.
of him. I was like, what? Like, I don't know. It was just weird,
Yeah. I honestly thought it was gonna be played by Hugh Jackman.
right?
yeah, the joke wasn't like I was waiting for a better joke at that moment too.
Right.
Than just like a bad CGI buff Ryan
Yeah.
Reynolds.
Because
Yeah.
I was kind of disappointed. I was like, oh, it's just him again.
him.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
But
And I guess like another storytelling problem I had after I thought about it more is like at the early in the movie they set up a ticking clock, which every movie usually does, about like when the story needs to end or what is going to like impact them that they need to get ahead of or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And at the beginning of this movie they're like, we're going to update everything in 3 days, like, and then we're going to lose Guy forever. Like once the update hits, he's gone. And they completely abandon that ticking clock because at the end the ticking clock becomes Taika destroying the servers with an axe one by one.
Yeah, that's true.
So like that ticking clock didn't mean anything. It was just like they inserted it into the script and forgot that they had to achieve what
Right.
they put into the
That's a
It
script.
was
Bummer.
like just kind of to create a sense of urgency.
Yeah.
yeah.
And then no follow through.
No, because then they switched the urgency to not be the update at all. It doesn't even the update didn't matter after a minute.
Right.
Gotcha. Okay, that's kind of a bummer.
And
Yeah.
to me, when you make your conflict more eye rolly, like with Taika Waititi, and like him, he's literally hacking servers with an axe when you could just flip a circuit breaker. Like
Right.
it's like this is where your ticking clock is fucked up because your stakes are not real. Like,
Right.
Okay,
Yeah, no, there's like
interesting.
I don't know. Yeah, like kind of going back to the split story, the storyline thing. Yeah, there's just like no. Obviously, there's not any real stakes in the game, but I would have loved for that to like translate to the outside story. Because like if something is happening in the game that is fucking with the real world, or like is becoming a problem with the game company with Taika's character or something, I want that to show up later and become like the climactic problem that gets resolved at the end somehow.
Right.
Yeah.
Instead, it like built up both sides weirdly, and like very small payoff with the dude fight, and like
Yeah. After a certain point, Guy is not even the main character, it seems like, in this movie.
Yeah.
Because it shifts to Millie and Steve Harrington or whatever. Because their issues and their problems become the focus.
Right.
Right.
And all it comes down to is that Taika Waititi like stole their content or whatever.
Yeah.
And like that's like not a good conflict to have
Yeah.
for what I view the protagonist as, Guy, a person in the video
Right.
game. It all becomes just a stupid lawsuit thing.
Right. If that is like that, my line of thinking with that is like if that is the whole conflict, right? Like he stole their code, used their code to create this game, and is lying about it or whatever. Make that known to Guy because he already knows he's what he learns that he's in a game, that he's not a real person or whatever, which is impactful for his character. Make it known that he's a part of something that is like being corrupted.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that kind of like his character can gain the sense of like, well, now
urgency.
now he's fighting for something
Yeah.
for himself, for his well-being, and like I don't know, that didn't come through. I know they tried to kind of
Yeah.
make it seem like guy, you're fighting for your world, your life, all the people around you.
Yeah.
But it just didn't hit that way because it didn't
Mhm.
feel like Guy cared. Like it just
Right.
didn't feel. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, there's something a little amiss just in the motivations or the direction of it.
Yeah.
And for me, this game did a really good job of like hitting game Easter eggs, or for people who
Mhm.
know games. My favorite bit in the whole movie is when they're just in like the coffee shop or whatever, and you see in the background there's two dudes that are running and they're like jumping in midair, like lifting their legs up. Like that's like spot on for gaming, and like seeing that in that like way was perfect.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But also like it's because I've played enough games, or maybe I know enough about like coding or what. I don't even know a lot, but like some of the stuff that Steve Harrington was saying and doing, I'm just like, well, this is movie coding. This is like he's
Right.
holding a computer and pushing buttons to achieve stuff.
I'm in.
Yeah,
that kind of stuff.
and it's just like silly, like with the original game being hidden by one wall in the. Why would
Right.
you
That was
ever keep a
weird.
game within? They're just like on a storage space of like of servers. Why would you waste that space for something you don't even want to be like?
Yeah.
That's all just like screenwriting issues
Yeah.
where they're not taking real life or the stakes in the world seriously.
Right.
And at a certain point, you can hand it away, but at a certain point, it's like, well, then why? What do I care about anything?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, there's a bit of like, I don't know if it nails it completely on the head, the whole like engineering games and stuff like that, like what goes into that. Because I have heard stories just like online and stuff like that of, people who lose like basically their IPs because they sold it to something and now it's just theirs and
Yeah.
they can't get it, It's
No, I
not
mean,
theirs
I
anymore.
can get behind that idea of like someone taking their code or their ideas. I can't get behind the idea of Taika Waititi, the evil character that just did that, knowingly did that, and then he decides, I'm not going to destroy the code that they've created. I'm just going to patch it into the game I'm going to make now
Right.
Right.
for reasons. But
Yeah.
Plot reasons.
plot
Yeah,
reasons.
right.
That's where if you're not doing it right, it's not gonna land right.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just that's how it is for me.
Interesting.
I think I liked Lil Rel the most in this movie. I forget his name. He's Guy's buddy.
Buddy? Yeah.
Oh, it's buddy.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that makes sense. I
Yeah.
thought their friendship was like the highlight of the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
They were so fun.
Yeah.
They were fun.
a good like duo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could feel the friendship, like
Right.
And my favorite scene in the whole movie, and it's kind of weird because it is like a more heady scene, and I think it's like the best piece of dialogue in the movie is when Guy's talking to Buddy about like free will and if he's real or what he thinks about if he's not real or whatever like that. And Lil Rel just says like I don't know. I mean, that's like hard to wrap your mind around, but I know that the moment between us right now is
It's
real.
real. Yeah.
Like that was I don't know. That just hit a note for me. I was like, that's
Yeah.
good. Like
Yeah.
they're dealing with the consequences, but maybe I'm a hypocrite because I'm just now realizing that I just said that if they take it too seriously, it's not a good movie. So,
Yeah.
I don't know.
What do you want?
Oh. Yeah, they can't please me. I think honestly, a big part of it for me was the premise in my mind doesn't line up with the premise that they made, obviously,
Mhm.
and it's
That's
just
hard.
sour for
Yeah,
it's
Yeah.
That's hard going into a movie when you have like sort of an idea of what it should be,
yeah,
and
Yeah.
then it just isn't that, you know.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
it's kind of a bummer because it could be, good, but you're already
Yeah.
with that mindset. It's just
Yeah.
hard to get out of it.
Yeah.
And I try to give every movie the benefit of the
Right,
doubt,
right.
and I attempt to like clear my mind of expectations before going into every movie.
Yeah.
I think with this one, I just carried a little too much in, but
Okay.
Yeah, I will say, as a plus to the movie, it was visually like one of my favorite little sequences. One when he gets to kiss Millie, and that like cerebral
yeah, that was cool.
unlocking
Yeah.
of like an NPC. I was like, this
Yeah.
is dope.
was
Okay,
really cool.
like, neurons on firing here. Like, yeah, I don't know. There was visual stuff that really played well with the whole
Yeah.
game world, but yeah, there wasn't. The story just didn't hold up. I feel.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I guess like just a few more gripes I have. The big like this is where I have problems, like because I want things to land but they don't.
Mhm.
The big romantic reveal at the end with Steve Harrington and Millie or whatever. He like goes to get coffee or whatever, and then she listens to his recording that he recorded, confessing his love. But she listened to that same recording an hour into the movie.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
at
she
that
did.
point, I was like, oh, everyone's on the same page about who likes who and where.
Right.
But then, like at the end, she watches it again and like has the realization that I thought she already had. And then they have their like in the rain moment.
Well, no,
they stare
yeah.
at each other for like a full
Yeah.
minute.
I feel like that's going to what you're saying. It's just like a screenwriting thing because
Yeah.
like she watches that video, but she cuts it off at
Yeah.
the perfect
Right.
time to
Perfect
not
time,
catch.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
what
even
he
for
was
me,
really
I'm
saying.
like, oh, I know where that's going.
Yeah, right,
Right.
right.
He said he modeled the character after like what she
Mhm.
likes or something like
Yeah.
that. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, it's fucking obvious now.
Yeah,
Sounds
right.
kind of cheesy.
Yeah.
A little bit.
The end is pretty cheesy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like even their friend was like, "Oh, I know what's going on,
Right.
but you don't. But I know, like
Right.
you should know
Obvious.
too, because obviously, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just weird.
Yeah.
The classic formula.
Yeah, I'm just sad. I really like the director because
Yeah, Sean
didn't
Levy.
he do Night at the Museum,
He did all
and
of
then he
those.
did This Is Where
Yeah.
I Leave You, which is one of my
I have not seen
fave movies.
Really?
Yeah.
I haven't seen
Well, I
that.
love the book.
I think it's in the
Oh.
chest.
Yeah, it's like mixed reviews from other people, but I really
He
like
did
it.
Real Steel too, didn't he? That one was
Did he?
pretty
I
good.
think he
really?
did, yeah.
That's
I'm
a
pretty
good
sure it
Real
was
Steel,
Steel.
yeah.
But yeah, I like see similarities between like all his movies, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know, this one super fun, but like you said, a lot of like story and
Plot points that are a
issues.
little
yeah.
fucked up.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if is this movie based off a book? I don't know.
I don't think so.
I like created a whole list of books and like half of them are
movies.
that have been adapted, you know, and I'm just like, I want to read before I watch these movies. I want to read these books because I'm sure they give you whole more
Yeah.
insight and
Right.
you know they just change your perspective and
Right.
what to expect out of the movie, kind of. But
No, I feel like this was a movie that, like I said, the premise was the first thing that they got,
Mm-hmm.
and then they were like shopped it around to script writers to
Yeah.
be like, who's gonna get the best to take on this idea?
Right.
yeah, it might have been better if like there was just one holistic
View.
vision
Mhm.
to like kind of see through and
Yeah, I guess the biggest gripes I have is like it does feel too like it's trying to be a blockbuster
Yeah.
without
Yeah.
like caring.
Mhm.
yeah, it's kind of shameless.
Yeah, it really
almost.
is like, but
But-
overall,
But
I
some
enjoyed the
people
movie.
like I know a lot of people walked out of that movie thrilled.
Loving it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know,
I
like
mean,
for sure.
And it was a blockbuster. I mean, it,
Right.
it made
was.
it was
Yeah,
the
big
only
money.
theatrical release, like strictly theatrical.
Yeah,
so
that was
It's
it
true.
made
Right.
the most money so far out of
It's
know
true.
recent
yeah,
releases.
and that's
so.
funny too because I've watched just recently. I've like watched like kind of talking head interviews with actors and directors and writers, and they kind of talk about how nowadays with streaming and everything, like people look at the numbers
Right.
on what and that's how they determine what makes a film successful.
I think that was on that Smartless interview with JJ,
Was it?
wasn't it?
Was
they
it?
talked about like Netflix, or was it Bob Odenkirk?
I can't remember.
I could see
Yeah.
because I've heard him talk about
Yeah,
that. a
because
little
they're
bit,
talking
too.
about how nowadays it's. It was Matt Damon, and
Oh,
he
yeah,
was
yeah.
talking on the Armchair Expert, I think. One of the two. I don't know. He was in a multiple. Anyway,
Hot ones.
I was gonna say I watched his Hot Ones and he talks a little bit about that
he was
too.
talking about how nowadays things don't really go to DVD. When they go to DVD, people
Yeah.
don't buy them
Right.
like they used
Right.
to.
They get that second life,
Right.
And that was how the movie making money like for making money. That's why the
Right.
movie industry was,
which I thought
modeled.
was
Yeah.
super interesting because I never even thought about that.
Right.
right.
Because I still buy DVDs and Blu-rays
For sure.
Because
Right,
I
'cause
like
you wanna
having the physical copy.
Collecting,
Right.
yeah, like
But
But
yeah,
thinking about it nowadays, it's fucking things up.
it really is
Mhm.
because as a company, you can then make a movie being like, well, it's probably not going to do good in theaters, but it'll get DVD sales. Well, that's what we'll
Right.
pick it up.
right.
But nowadays, you're not going to risk that anymore.
Yeah, no,
Mhm.
no,
straight
yeah.
to streaming or
Yep.
whatever the fuck they do
Yeah.
nowadays. It's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
it's just sad, but
I'm appreciative of this movie being a theater movie.
Right.
Like
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
enjoyed it
Yeah.
in the theater. It was a fun
Yeah.
movie.
right,
Yeah.
Yeah, and I
Which
guess
is-
if
something positive.
It
About
is
it.
something.
Yeah.
yeah, right. If you can mindlessly munch some popcorn and candy
Right.
while you're
Right.
watching,
Yeah.
Yeah.
For
So
sure.
that's all some people want. Some people want to sit down in a movie and just blank out for 2 hours, and
Yeah.
that's definitely a movie you can do
Mhm.
this with and walk out like satisfied.
For
Because
sure.
hopefully Ryan Reynolds doesn't get that stigma like Dwayne Johnson gets.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Because he
Right.
has potential. I mean, Buried. I mean, shit.
I have not seen that one, but
That one, it's only him in it.
Yeah.
And he's
Right.
phenomenal.
Oh.
Right.
So,
he's got range, and that's maybe why I
Right.
was soured on this movie is because he's
Right.
not showing it.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
he can
It
do
kind of
more.
just fell into the typecasting.
Mhm.
Right.
He's the Deadpool esque
Yeah.
thing
Right.
he does, which is the only other thing I've really seen him in other than
The
Deadpool.
Proposal.
Proposal.
Ew.
That's a
Oh.
great
I
movie.
forgot about
Hey,
that. That is actually a really good
Yeah.
movie.
I've seen it. Definitely, maybe.
To
with
the
him.
one.
Oh,
That's
that's a
oh
good
my
one.
gosh, yes.
That one is and the Change Up.
Just
with-
Friends.
The Change Up. I've
Yeah.
seen the Change Up. I
Yes.
have not seen
That's
Just
Oh my
Friends.
gosh. Now I have a whole other list of rom-coms I'm gonna watch. Right now.
But yeah, because you're right. He has range, and I'd
Mhm.
love to see more. Like,
Right.
can you imagine Ryan Reynolds under like a James Gunn led
Right.
Yeah.
kind of project.
Something where it's just not all on his shoulders to
Yeah.
be him.
Right.
The character's written well. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
He has stuff to bounce off of
Right.
more rather
It's
than
not just like, hey, do that Deadpool thing.
yeah, spew out you, dude.
Just
Like,
be Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, give us
Right.
you. What do you got?
Exactly.
What you got? Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah.
That's a good
Segue.
transition. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's just get to the Suicide Squad then. Yeah.
Yeah.
I,
The new and improved.
I went in with low expectations.
Really?
Superhero movies really just don't tickle me very
Okay.
much.
Yeah.
I
That's
mean,
fair,
in
that's
general,
fair. Yeah.
Marvel. I mean, I was on the train
Mhm.
since Iron Man 1 came out.
Right.
I watched them all, but they're never really like, I don't know. They were just Marvel movies.
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
know, whatever. But I went in low expectations, and pleasantly, I was surprised.
Nice.
I think what drove it was what I mentioned. James Gunn is very good at writing characters and playing them off
Yes.
each other
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like,
100%.
goddamn, John Cena was one of the best parts of this
Dude.
fucking
Right?
movie,
Right?
and that
He
is
did not
fucking
expect that.
nuts.
Yeah.
For me,
That's
him-
fucking
I don't know.
nuts.
Yeah, like he just does justice to everybody.
Yep.
But like, yeah, like John Cena, I like have such a I don't know. I've seen a little bit of Idris Elba's work, and this movie just deepened my love for him more.
Right.
And
It's
Idris
like
Elba.
Das Malchion, like I know he just plays those like smaller, fun, goofier,
Darker kind
yeah,
of-
kind of roles. He just plays those so well.
Yeah.
Like I think James Gunn just had a perfect idea.
I,
of what
my
he
mind
wanted.
was blown the entire time that I was laughing at John Cena, not because he's an idiot, but
Yeah.
because I'm like, he's hitting all these pretty
Yeah.
good.
Right.
Yeah.
I was shocked, and that character was what I appreciate about that character all the way through is he took his morals and everything to the end. Like he didn't
Yeah.
change for the
Yep.
Yeah.
for the people to be happy that he
Yeah.
changed as a
Right.
person. You know, oh no, he's gonna be a good guy. No, he's a
Yeah.
scumbag.
Exactly.
Right.
And he's going
Yeah.
to be a scumbag to the end because that is his code.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I
And
totally
he'll do
agree
anything
with
to
that.
protect whatever the fuck. But
Yeah.
it's just
I think that goes back to James Gunn's skill because like
Right.
a different writer could have had them all shift to be on the same page at the end. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh yeah,
but
and I think
that he-
a lesser writer might have you
for
know
sure,
what I mean?
100%.
right,
He makes them bounce off each other in the right
Yep.
way.
right.
Yeah.
And the character tropes stick. They
Yeah.
don't change to
Yeah,
please anybody, and it's just it was refreshing to have that, and that's one of the things that I really enjoyed about John Cena's character arc, if you want to
Yeah.
even call it
Same.
that.
Uh-huh.
But it was
Same.
just I was happy that at the very end he didn't cave. You know,
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
still he
Stay
was still
true to like
Peacemaker.
what
Yep.
he was built up to be.
Right.
You know.
Even when he's
That's,
about to shoot the rat catcher on the ground,
Right.
Yeah.
you can see the internal struggle in him, but he
Right.
knows he's gonna do it.
Yeah,
you
Right.
know,
Like,
he's
yeah.
going
there's
to do it.
that all that conversation beforehand of like we're all shit bags. We all like
Right.
we all have a kind of code, but like we're not child killers and that kind of thing. You know, like that kind of
Yeah.
comes up. Like I'll kill women and children, whatever. You know, pay me enough, I'll kill whoever. But like not kids. Like that.
Yeah.
There's a line somewhere. I like that James kind of like set a line somewhere.
Yeah.
But
You gotta
for
make up for the
Peacemaker, there is no
past.
line.
Right.
Like, so that
Exactly.
it's nice that he sets lines, but then for some characters, they are gonna cross that line.
Right.
Like,
Right.
Yeah. And there's like a gray area where some characters have to operate.
Mhm.
Right.
Sad,
Right.
but that's refreshing. I mean,
It really is,
shit.
yeah.
I mean, having good characters is everything in
Mhm.
a
Right.
movie. It holds movie. I mean,
That-
compared to Free Guy, like what you guys were saying,
Right.
the characters were the parts that really let you guys down, and the
Right.
writing
Totally.
of those
Right. Yeah.
characters.
Right.
So,
like James Gunn is just so smart at giving you exactly what you need to know the character and then care about the character. Like even in the first crew of people, he
mhm.
gets their like
Yeah.
essences and their personalities across so well and
Oh my
so
gosh.
quick that you're behind them immediately.
Yeah, dude. Like when you're starting off with Michael Rooker and you're like,
Yeah.
okay, this like savant or whatever, like this guy's
Mhm.
he's gonna lead them and everything's gonna be like they're gonna kill like do some badass shit. And then within like 5 minutes, everything just
Yeah.
goes to hell. Like
That was such a when in the
Oh.
theater when all that was going down. I was like, "Wow, what
Yeah.
a bold opening!" Like,
Right?
Yep.
yeah.
I was
was like,
I was
whoa.
pretty invested in that being the team because I kind
Right.
of forgot about
Right.
the casting news and stuff
Yeah.
like
Right.
that.
yeah.
And then once they all started dying, I was just like, "Holy!"
Oh my god,
fuck,
dude!
we're
I was
in
so
for a
ready
ride.
for like to see because I'm just a big Pete Davidson fan.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Gets
I'm
his
just ready to
face
see
blown off.
Oh my
some
gosh.
more Pete Davidson, man. And then he just gets blasted.
Boom.
One of my
Yeah.
favorite parts was they said, "What does TDK stand for?" And he's like, "It's my name." And then he gets on and he detaches, or was it TDK, the detachable kid, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And I was like, "That's amazing." That was just a good payoff.
And
on
his
it.
like arms barely move.
Yeah.
and
He
they
just
like are just like slapping people.
Yeah.
Did No,
there
that
shooting
was
his arm, he's
Nathan
writhing
Fillion.
on the
Fillion.
ground.
Yeah,
Nathan Fillion.
I actually
What?
didn't like pay attention. I didn't even know he was cast,
Yeah.
and then I saw him as that, and I was like, oh man, this is good. Like I was like, I was in because I was like, this is gonna be good. I love Nathan Fillion and all that.
That was just a very smart opening, and like as a writer, that must have been so much fun
Right,
to like
dude.
I
bring
bet.
the audience along for that, and then
Yeah.
just
And just kill
Fucking
everyone
right.
off.
That is just like I think a huge tonal difference from the first one,
Yeah.
and this one is like you can I don't know. For me, you can almost tell that like everyone is having fun.
Right.
Yes.
Like all the characters are in it for themselves or whatever, but like. Yeah, everyone like it just that adds so much to the experience.
Right.
When the performers are having fun,
Yeah.
and they know like the writing is solid, then they can kind of just go all out.
Yeah.
They don't, they, like you said, like there's not a lot of pressure on them. I feel
Right.
like, and it just shows like it pays off.
Like
Yeah.
the tone with this is like what you said, like it can't be too like serious, but it can't be. It's like it's jokey, but it's not.
Yeah,
Right.
It's like a perfect like meld. Whereas like the first Suicide Squad is just trying to be like grim dark, but this movie should be fun, and it is. Like that's what's really good about
yeah.
this.
There's like a very healthy balance, I think, between the action sequences and all the dialogue between because all the dialogue I felt like held weight, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
the way characters interacted with each other.
Right.
Yep.
You kind of like they just gave you more, that they deepen the characters more, like you
Right.
just see more
Which
between them.
I thought this was the best version of Harley Quinn.
Oh,
Dude,
Me
that,
too.
I was
Hands
Cannot
thinking
stand
about
down.
her in Birds of Prey.
Heck
I
yes.
I could barely finish that movie.
yeah,
And the obviously the original Suicide Squad, but this one I was like,
yeah.
this is the best version, toned down perfectly,
Right.
Yeah.
just the right amount of crazy.
I was waiting for
and-
someone to bring her up because she was, she was
Love
awesome.
her
The
so
whole,
much.
Right.
the whole javelin like
Right?
kind of
Yes.
thing, like
Yeah.
starting off, like
That,
Yeah.
that I was also blown away by that. Her and John Cena, the fact that those were like my biggest takeaways
Yeah.
is like mind-boggling because I hate Harley Quinn's characters.
Mhm.
Not I think Margot Robbie is great at what she does,
Yeah.
but I think that character is just in the previous adaptations or whatever directed poorly or written
Yeah.
poorly. I don't
Yeah.
know what the hell, but I can't get behind it. But this one, shit,
right,
I liked
yeah,
it.
I think just James Gunn knows how to like hit the tone of her character
Right.
too,
right,
because she's obviously like dark and like unpredictable and crazy.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
man.
But like with Margot Robbie, really it sells that she's like got this human core underneath her
Right.
that you
Yeah.
can just really like see.
Mhm.
And yeah, especially like with she was more dynamic in this movie, and I cared
sure.
more.
Yeah.
Like
Absolutely.
especially with her like having the sex scene or whatever, the love scene with
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that dude.
the head of the
Yeah.
government.
Yeah.
And then like the next scene, like just shoots him dead. Like and like in my mind, I'm like, okay, this is the main villain of the movie.
Right.
We're gonna be with him for the
Right.
rest of the movie. Like this is what I'm seeing and feeling. And then just to like have her totally shift it is like such a.
Yeah.
It just keeps you on her toes. It keeps these characters
Yeah.
real. It keeps them
Yeah.
like
I-
flawed.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
refreshing
I
to
loved
see.
that because, like the whole. I mean, first of all, the love hate gun. It was like playing that tone so well, and like the whole her and Joker thing. It's like, I don't know, for her character to like
Deal
kind
with
of
it.
kind of know like what a healthy relationship
Yeah.
is and stuff like
Like
that.
she broke
and-
free from that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So she's
prison
like she's
almost.
been at the worst. She knows what makes her the worst, which
Yeah.
is when she's with the Joker or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
And she's kind of like her own character when she's not with the Joker,
Yeah.
which is great. And like we got to actually see that. Like,
Right.
Yeah, and the best part about that is like she's like saying like totally like she's overcoming her like last relationship with the Joker
Yeah.
while the guy's like dying on the ground. He's like, I promise next time I'm gonna kill him straight up if something's not right. And it's like heartfelt, but also like super fucked up. Like,
Yeah,
and that's just
right,
what her character
right.
is.
Yeah.
A good blend. A good
Yeah.
blend.
And her breakout scene was awesome. Like that was
Yeah,
one of the
dude.
most cinematic fun things in the movie.
Yeah.
Totally like put you in Harley's head.
Right.
Yeah.
How she's
Yes.
feeling, what she's doing. It's just so much fun.
Yeah,
I
It
thought.
just
started
like
off
her
super
shooting.
badass.
Yeah.
and
The
then
romp and all the.
even got
Flowers
better.
and butterflies.
right?
The
behind her.
flowers,
I was like,
yes.
amazing.
About going behind her for the first time while she's yelling with machine guns is one of my
Yes.
favorite
Oh,
shots.
I love that. Yeah. Yeah.
And that whole sequence in the early in the movie, she's like, "I'm a princess," and then in that scene, it's like totally like a fucked up Disney princess
Right.
feel.
Yeah.
And there's like birds flying and flowers, and it's like I don't know, it just totally nails Quinn, like
She's
Harley Quinn.
shooting butterflies out of other people's heads.
Yeah.
Like, that
Right.
just tells you enough. You
Yeah.
know, like-
Exactly.
And it was the song that was playing was the song that she was singing while she was tortured too. So I thought that was
Right.
kind of fun too.
Yeah. No,
The
yeah.
music too. So the first one, I think they tried too hard
It
Oh,
was
yeah.
like a
Yeah.
giant
to put
music video.
Yeah, like when they
Right.
played Bohemian Rhapsody at the end, I was like, why?
Yeah.
Mhm.
But this one, just James Gunn, like even Guardians of the Galaxy, you know,
Yeah.
He just
like,
knows how to get a
so
good
good.
soundtrack.
Yeah.
So
good
good.
soundtrack, knows how to do slow-mo walk-ups of the gang. I mean,
Yeah,
the
man.
title cards were one of my favorite parts of the fucking
Amazing.
movie. I mean,
But yeah, I thought
Yeah.
they
they
were
were
fun.
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
They were nice and smooth, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I liked
like
it.
the one in the
Still never
scrapyard with the medals.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it was just
In the
it's
scene,
amazing.
it feels
Yeah.
much cooler too, where it's
Yeah.
not just
Yeah.
a text block and
Mhm.
it's like tangible. That's just nice.
Yeah,
It
there's
was-
like a couple versions of that, like near the end when they're like almost to what is it? Not Jotunheim.
Jotunheim.
Yeah, it is
Oh, is it
Mhm.
Jotunheim?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, they're like it's that all I don't know. One of my favorite scenes was like when it's Idris Elba and Peacemaker and someone else.
Rick Flag.
Rick, yeah, who also was
Yeah.
so much
Right.
better,
Right.
like
Mhm.
Yeah,
well
Totally.
utilized in this
Yeah,
movie.
I agree.
Right.
But like
May
when
he
they're
rest
in
in
the
peace.
they're captured and when they're with the soldiers in the back and they're just like kind of talking with lighting the cigarette and
Yeah.
it's like that's what they would
Talking
say.
about the death touch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, but can you wield the death touch with certainty? That's like that's what they say. That's what who say. Amateurs. Yeah, boom. He's like, I don't even smoke.
Another character thing. So in Guardians of the Galaxy, I don't like Groot. I find him to be
No.
a waste, and I just find him annoying. But Shark Boy, I don't know what's his name.
King Shark King?
Nanae?
No, well,
It's like some.
Yeah, it's some. King
Naname?
name.
No,
Yeah.
that's not right.
Oh
Well,
yeah, no yeah.
I thought that character it wasn't like Groot to where it was taking over the
Yeah.
scenes.
Yeah.
He almost had his own little sensitive arc where he's
For
looking
sure.
out the window and he just wants to be a part of the gang.
Yeah.
And he's with the fish and he's like, oh, I got my friends, and it goes back to the beginning when he
Mhm.
tries to eat the girl and you say,
Yeah.
you don't eat your friends, and then those fish start to eat him. And
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like, these aren't your friends, buddy.
Yep.
You know.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I just thought that was cool too. It was cool to have this could have been stupid character like
Right.
Groot for me,
Mhm.
and it
Right.
wasn't. So that was a pleasant surprise too for me. So
Yeah, I think what on your point, what made those moments land so well is just James Gunn knows how to like I said, give you the moments you need. Like with Shark Dude, you like when he's looking out the window, it's like you felt that as a kid when you're looking out the window
Right.
and trying to take in the world and understand it.
right.
Yeah.
And like when he's sitting all alone because he can't go into the bar, it's just like you only need those two moments. Like,
Yeah.
that's really it. And then you're
Right.
behind this character almost like, and like with Ratcatcher, really fun intro, but you don't really get to know her until halfway through.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it's like one of the few flashback scenes you see,
Right.
and that was placed perfectly.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just James Gunn will do these cheesy writing moments, and he like with he'll cut to black when like action's going, when the ceiling falls down, cuts to black, and like that might feel bad in another movie, but it feels perfect in here. And I know some people don't like the 8 minutes earlier type of storytelling.
That
where
was
it-
exactly 8 minutes, by the way.
was it really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Was
that's
it
awesome.
really?
Wow.
But I like to break up that action in the final act. I thought that was the perfect way to do it. So I'm
Yeah,
not
I'm behind
convoluted
it.
with all
Right.
the different
Right.
stuff.
Yeah.
I'm behind it.
Hmm.
I think he just has a very good way of letting the audience in on like what is going through the character's head. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Yeah.
how to frame where the characters are at and
He
where
is-
we're at with them.
I was mesmerized by the blocking that James Gunn can
Yeah.
do, and just in every scene, it just feels like it's perfect. And even I was noticing in just like goon shots or simple like quick cuts to like the called Maltesian army or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Even the goon shots, there's personality in all those shots. Like they're sitting eating food,
Mm-hmm.
they're smoking a cigarette with like with the actual ashtray nearby. I don't know if that's just me being like, oh, that's a good shot, but it's just like it. Or like the torturer sending emojis, the torture emojis.
Yeah.
It's just like he gives you. And another one was like Milton outside. It's just like little moments. Maybe I'm just weird, but like he's hitting a vape outside, like this classic vape you would see somebody hit
Yeah.
outside. And it's just like I know that guy. Like, I
Yeah.
know Milton now. Like,
Yeah.
and it's just you need little moments like that.
Yeah.
That's all
Yeah.
you really need to get
Subtle
you.
little archetypes of
Yeah.
just ground it a little even more. Like they're just like they just play
the
into
attention
it.
to detail. That
Yeah,
makes
for
Very
sure.
crisp
better,
is
right?
what I would say.
Right.
Crisp.
Yeah.
Had a kind of cabin in the woodsy feel too, a little bit with the agency kind of
Mm-hmm.
like monitoring everything. I just
Mhm.
felt like that dynamic a little bit.
Yeah.
What a good movie.
I actually did really enjoy the Amanda Waller like kind of thing. 'Cause
Yeah.
you're like,
Yeah.
wow, this piece of shit is
Right.
behind these other pieces of shit. Like,
Mhm.
who's the real, like, who's a bad person
Yeah.
in this world
Yeah.
that we've been presented with?
Right.
and then that crew kind of
The-
like rises up, and it just works.
Yeah,
perfectly.
like-
The bureaucracy wasn't boring in this movie, which
Right.
it totally
Exactly.
could have.
Which
Yeah.
it was in the first one.
Yeah.
Right.
Like I appreciate that they made her kind of more ruthless in a
Mhm.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because everyone was like, wait, are you really gonna do that? Because at the end of the first one, she was like, yeah, I guess I'll give you whatever you want.
Right.
But
Yeah.
this one, she's like, no way, Jose.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm not doing that anymore.
And that's another good character thing. Like she was gonna go through with it,
right.
So,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
and she was gonna stick with it.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah.
She didn't
Yeah.
change her mind. Nice.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
sure.
It's so nice to see characters like that. That
Right.
you just know that it's gonna make sense what they're gonna do,
Yeah.
and you won't feel betrayed
Yeah.
by
Yeah.
what they're
Yeah.
gonna do.
Even
you
though
know?
you don't want her to push the button, you know that she needs to push the like.
Right.
You're not going to be like, oh, I wish she would just care and not do it.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
You gotta
That's not
stick
gonna
to
do-
your
that's not gonna go
principles.
right.
Exactly.
Right.
Mhm.
Stick to your principles.
Even the whole rivalry between Idris Elba and John Cena,
Mhm.
like
Right.
you know, you kind of expect them to be a family at the end, you know.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I appreciate that they did not, because they
Right.
literally just hate each other,
Yep.
and the end just paid off because the whole
Mhm.
time they were just
Button
you know,
heads.
Yeah,
Yeah. Like
exactly.
That was probably my favorite scene in the movie is
Mhm.
when they're going to break out Rick Flag from what they think is like the bad guys.
Yes.
And they're
Oh my
like they're one upping each other,
So
killing
good.
like
Innocent
what you
people.
can kind of tell are innocent people.
Yeah. Right.
right.
And just like that whole scene, and then the reveal of who they actually just killed at the tent, like that's what that scene hit this movie perfectly. Of like the tone of being, I was laughing and I was feeling horrible,
Right.
Right.
and like that's what Suicide Squad is. Like,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome. I didn't see it coming. when
Yeah.
they opened the
I mean,
tent.
that's like a similar vibe when they go to save Harley
Yeah.
and she saved herself and they're
Yeah.
about to bust in and kill everyone in this
Right.
building, and then Harley's just like, hey, like, yeah, what
Starts
are you guys
climbing
doing?
the
It's
wall.
like, yeah,
Yeah, he's doing like the Batman walk, and, like it's gonna be epic, and then she just shows up.
yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, you guys were gonna save me.
yeah.
Aw.
Oh. Yeah. Because
Yeah.
they were just doing laundry, some of them, and then
Right.
One dude's
I
just
cannot
waking
get
up,
over
he's
it.
naked. and-
Yeah.
stands up.
And then I was like, oh, they're probably bad guys anyway, like
Yeah.
whatever. And then nope.
And
Poor
I thought
guy.
that like there was a level of smartness in that scene too, of like it is funny and it's like raw,
Mm-hmm.
but like it's like actually like a good commentary on like American imperialism, like
Right.
because you've
Yeah.
seen those scenes in other movies where it's like, yeah, fuck up the whole fucking
Right.
refugee
Right.
camp, but it's like in this one it's like, oh wow, maybe we should have thought a little bit more about
I
it.
love that, yeah, because it's like like you said, there's the scenes you've seen before, like always seen multiple times in movies.
Rambo.
Past. Yeah, like the people come in and fuck shit up, and then it's like obviously that was something like I feel like someone, if not James Gunn, had to stop and think about. Like,
Yeah.
no,
Right.
like are we really just gonna rehash this? Like,
At several moments, James Gunn stops his movie and like tries to tell you a message
Right.
through his characters in a good
Yeah.
way.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
And that's like it's like as a writer, what are you trying to say? And if you
Mhm.
have nothing to say, then you shouldn't make the movie. You know, like
Yeah.
so those scenes landed like when they're on the bus and Idris Elba's character is talking with Ratcatcher for the first time, basically, and
Mhm.
she reminds him of his daughter.
Mhm.
Like
right.
it's just perfect. Like that's what you need in that moment.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. It was like a big difference for me too, like with this team that we got, opposed to like the first one.
Mhm.
Bunch
The
of
first-
no names.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it just felt more natural.
Yeah.
It did. It
Yeah.
did. Like the first one felt like it was trying to make villains heroes, where
Yeah.
this one it was
Yeah.
like, no, these are just
These are them.
they're not maybe villains, but at the very least they're anti-heroes. You know,
Yeah.
like they're
Right.
not
Yeah.
It's not
your
just black
typical
and
things.
white kind
yeah,
of thing.
exactly, which I
Yeah.
could appreciate more.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Also relatable. I mean,
Yeah.
shit, villains are always
Mhm.
relatable.
Right, like Polka Dot Man, like
Oh.
that's someone you want to be a superhero, right?
Right.
Like
Oh
just
my
because
God.
like
Mom.
It's just Elba just screaming, "It's your mom!"
You see who that is?
Oh my
I'm a
God.
superhero.
splat.
Oh man.
I was like, I love that character, so it's hard to see that happen.
I know,
Right?
man.
But
So
in that
sad.
moment, I was like, yes, this is exactly what needed to
It's
happen.
your mom.
The whole last act, I felt like I was in the first Spy Kids movie
Oh,
for
yeah.
some reason, like the thumb people or
thumb
whatever.
thumbs.
That's true.
But
It,
I
it
just
was cool
loved
that
it
the
so much.
giant thing was a starfish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
Actually read
just
that was
goofy
like,
enough.
Just
Yeah.
goofy enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like for James. I read that James Gunn, as like a comic buff that he is, he was like as a kid when he read the Star Oak, he was like terrified by the prospect of like an
Right.
alien
Yeah.
latching onto the face and stuff. So he was like, but it's also like this brightly colored, goofy
Right.
starfish thing.
It
Like,
It worked.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's just perfect for it.
Which honestly, the stakes were. I felt like the stakes were higher here, like compared to the first one where the Enchantress. I don't know. I was just.
Shit.
It's so hard to not compare the two.
Oh yeah.
Like when I was watching it last night, I just could not finish it because I just wanted to watch the other one.
Right.
But I committed.
Even in the enemies, like how there's just nothing identifiable about the first one. You know what I mean? Like there's literally just like these paper people, like these rock people, and then the brother sister Enchantress, and they're just like nothing stood out. Like there was nothing behind them. It felt like
because they spent not a whole chunk, but just introducing the villain / heroes, with the title cards or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
But then in this second one, you don't really know them in the beginning. You kind of just get to know them throughout the movie.
Yeah.
And it's just a whole lot of different.
Right. That's what was so great about that opening, because it's like this is your team, right? And then you're like, nope, no, that was the distraction team. Like they were meant. Like
the
both
actual
of these
Suicide Squad.
And
Exactly.
and that's like a reality of the Suicide Squad is one time maybe they're gonna go in and just all fucking die.
Right.
And that's just
exactly.
with it was really smart to put in like Harley Quinn and Captain Boomerang into that first team too, because that made me buy into this being the squad.
Right.
Because right when Captain Boomerang died, I was like, wow, these stakes just got higher. Like this is not what I expected. So I really like that.
Kind of a fan favorite who immediately was off.
Right. Which I was sad about, but
Me too.
Brutal too. Just
so sad.
oof. Just
Got a little
takes all
smiling at the end though.
Yeah.
Before he died.
He was probably one of the best things in the first movie.
In the first one, I would
So-
totally agree. Yeah.
It's just so sad.
Yeah.
Yeah. To your point, Patricia, though, it does just kind of show like skill in writing a little bit more. Because I was thinking with like just the head explosion as a concept in a Suicide Squad, you have to like get that across or like show it be done just to show you what will happen if these people don't do what they are told to do.
Yeah, they did that with that Slipknot dude.
They did it in the first one, and I rewatched that scene and I was like, I don't remember this being effective, and I was like, why it was not effective? And it's like just randomly scattered in the scene.
Yeah.
He just goes and it's like a tiny boop, he's dead, and then he like falls down or whatever.
Yeah.
In this one, the entire build up to it is everyone dying and Savant being like, when's he gonna get in and do his fucking shit? No, he just runs away, and then that's when he at the end of the scene, like you right toward the end of the scene, like the head exploding. Everything you need to know is done now. Everything is set, and now you're gonna have to get hooked on another story.
Right.
Now.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just really good. I thought
It's so good.
It was. I was shocked. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Me too.
And yeah, I gave it 4.
Me
I
too.
think me too.
Me too.
Yeah.
I gave it 3.5, but I wouldn't give it 4. Like, it's just good.
This is one I wanted to watch right away after, so that's always a good
Yeah,
thing.
Right.
actually, I almost watched it again. Scrolling through HBO, I was like,
Right.
I might watch
could
this
still
again.
get to
It's on
again,
H.
Well,
Yeah.
probably for a
Obviously it's on
limited
HBO,
time.
Patricia.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh wait, I have a question for Matt. What
What's
did you think about Taika Waititi?
Yeah, I was
Oh,
gonna, I was
yeah.
gonna mention that. Was he
Yeah, I
Rat,
forgot about
this
Ratcatcher
role.
1 or whatever?
I liked him in this one.
Yeah.
The weirdness of that story I thought was perfect. It's just like you said, the perfect amount of weirdness in this world with like cuddling with the rats and making them warm. And,
Right.
like, I was like, oh, that's so fucking weird, but I would get it.
Yeah.
I'm behind it.
Right.
And then
Can't trust rats.
no joke, when it flashed back at the end to Taika like telling Ratcatcher 2 about like how rats can be the thing to help her. If a rat has a purpose, everyone does or whatever.
Right.
No joke, I teared up in that moment.
Yeah.
I was like, this is.
I feel that.
Like, and maybe it was Taika that helped that along, but I think honestly the movie did a pretty good job of just
So good.
solidifying that
I think that's a
emotional
combination of
climax.
It
performance
had a
and
great
writing.
foundation for that. You
Right.
know?
Yeah,
So.
true. Yeah.
It's just so good. Even what I liked too when Rick Flag died. He was trying to.
Yeah.
Sad.
I'm so sad. He's
Right?
too hot to die. But
what I
anyway,
was
I'm
thinking.
just glad Idris Elba is
Yeah.
Still
honestly-
alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, but when he
Snack.
died, you'd think that he died for the good of, I guess, America or something,
Yeah.
because he wanted to spread that.
Mhm.
But in the end, it kind of was in vain too, because
Yeah.
he
Right.
kind of
Yeah.
they used it as leverage, and I was
Right.
like, respect,
Right.
you
I
know,
mean,
because
that's
it's not
how-
a feel good. It is a feel good movie in a way, but
Right.
it's not that kind of feel
For
good.
sure.
They gave you a
Right.
little feel good. His daughter was like, "That's
Right.
my dad,"
Mhm.
instead
Oh,
of
yeah.
this "fuck you" screaming match they had
Yeah.
in the
Yeah,
beginning.
it's,
You know,
it's all character
Right.
at the end. It's not plot that we
Plot.
save the
Yeah.
world. You know?
Right. which is
Yeah.
great. I mean,
Yeah.
It
good
makes you-
characters is great.
Yeah, makes you relate.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think one of the biggest takeaways of like, wow, this is the movie I needed to see the first time is Rick Flag. Like in the first movie, I didn't give
Right.
a fuck about him.
Exactly.
Right.
I kind of hated him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in this
Yeah.
movie, I like when he died. That was one of the best scenes in the movie
Yeah.
because I cared. I
Yeah.
was like, fuck, Rick.
Yeah.
Not,
Of all the superhero dudes, like this average Joe kind of
Yeah.
dude who was like in for the good of the team, kind of
Right.
Yeah.
had to go.
I didn't
and
expect him to die. I
Right.
was
No.
hoping he'd pull through. but
Same.
perfect shot of the shard going into his heart too.
Mhm.
You just
Yeah.
know when you need to get those impactful shots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think he had one of the best lines before a death in any movie I've seen.
Yeah.
At that moment, like Peacemaker. What a joke! Like
Yeah.
that's just
That hit the spot right there.
wow.
Sure.
Great
And the way he
one-liner.
delivered it too, I was
Mhm.
like, yes,
Yeah.
dude.
It's like Joel Kinnaman.
Yeah, I honestly, I hope, I liked it a lot. I hope we see more of him and stuff. 'cause-
Joel
Yeah.
Kinnaman.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was good. He just
Have you guys watched that Netflix series, the first season where he's in?
Altered Carbon.
Yeah, Altered
I've seen
Carbon.
like 2 episodes.
Yeah, it was super boring. I
couldn't
couldn't.
get
Really?
into it. Yeah.
I couldn't get into it.
I
either.
hear he is good in it. though.
Yeah, that's why I'd give it a try because
Mhm.
Right.
I thought he
it's
has
kinda the
potential, but
shining light in there.
the
Yeah.
story just kind of didn't grab me. But
Mhm.
anyway,
I feel that.
yeah.
Did you guys notice the Jurassic Park ending, or was that just me?
What?
Like it's like it literally to me it felt like they were trying to mimic the feeling of the Jurassic
When
Park
the
ending.
weasel wakes up.
No, it's when they're getting in the chopper and it just takes off. They're all like, it's done. They're safe. They're
Oh,
off.
yeah.
Idris Elba, like Harley, like lays down.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I feel that
Ratcatcher lays down, and they're all like beat, and they're like, I was just like, this has to be
flying
an
off the
homage.
island.
You know, now that you mention it, it reminds me of the third one when they're flying away and the pterodactyls are flying with
Yeah,
them.
that's in the first one too. They're
Yeah.
just flying with the birds.
Oh
Right.
shit! Is that the first one too?
Yeah, I think
Damn,
so.
I haven't seen them in a long time.
Yeah, a long time.
Mm.
Dang.
I was like, oh, that's a nice homage. If that's and then like at the end with him petting the rat, perfect metaphor
Right.
for the entire movie.
Right.
You know?
I like that rat.
I mean, it's James Gunn, so I'm assuming it was somewhat intentional.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's great. So
I guess like also I was pissed when this happened, but thank you Disney
For firing him.
Yeah, like
Right.
Yeah.
Suicide
I was gonna
Squad
say.
is the perfect property for James Gunn.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you've seen some of his earlier stuff, like Slither.
I
or
really want to
Super.
see that.
Super is the one with Rainn Wilson where
Yeah.
he's like a
Yeah.
fucked up superhero or whatever. They're so brutal and gory. Like it's totally not Guardians of the Galaxy. It's something completely a
Yeah.
different style, and that's his style.
Right.
unfettered.
So
kinda.
this mixture of like fun team mixed with gory death, and
Mhm.
it's just exactly who you needed to pick.
Yeah.
I was hoping for a little more gore, but you know, that's
Really?
just me.
You
Yeah.
didn't get enough?
No, I didn't get enough. I
Enough
like
blood?
me some gore.
That entire camp wiped out. No.
You didn't like all the multiple shark deaths getting eaten or ripped in half?
Yeah,
That was
those
my
parts
gosh.
were good, but
Yeah.
I wanted more. You know, I did enjoy the detachable kid writhing on the ground as his
Right.
blown
His arms
apart.
getting shot
That's
up.
that was
man.
another one where I was like, I was getting shocked at the tone of this movie.
Right.
They're all dying, and Nathan
Yeah.
Fillion is literally like writhing in pain. I'm like,
hands are
wow, like, this is like real, man. This is fucked up.
Yeah,
Just a
that's
little more
good.
gore. I would have been okay, but I mean, I
get
it
that.
was good.
Just a dash
Just a
more.
little more
Yeah.
gore is all I ask. But I think that's probably my only gripe.
Yeah,
I'm
Yeah.
still in shock that I like John Cena in a role.
yeah,
I-
Aren't they making like a TV show?
Yeah.
yeah.
James Gunn
Really?
is also.
Yeah.
Writing, directing, which I'm excited for if he's behind it.
Right.
Yeah.
I
he
just
must
hope
have a good
he
idea.
can hold his own. You know, he doesn't have anybody to bounce off
Right.
of.
That's
Right.
true.
I mean, he
Right.
might, but I just him and Idris Elba's, you know, dynamic was
Chef's kiss.
yeah very good,
Yeah.
and even
Perfect.
the rest of the team's dynamic with him.
Mhm.
You know, it just had that good thing to play off.
Him and
Yeah.
his little tidy whiteys.
Oh,
That's
oh
kind
my
of
gosh.
I won't say like it's like a negative, but in James Gunn's movie I find myself like when he goes off on a comedic tangent, it's either gonna land really well or it might just fall kind of flat. Like, and I mean it's just me. And in almost every movie he has these moments, and it 100% varies on your taste. But some throwaway jokes like when Ratcatcher's like points at the overhead projector and is like, "What is that?"
Oh yeah,
Why don't you
that,
throw
that
that
was
out?
kind of cringy.
That's a moment where he's like trying to stop and be like, "Let's get a joke."
Yeah,
Like, and let's get this character
Right.
kind of personality across.
right. As
Some
a
of those don't
millennial.
land, but then 90% of the other stuff, like with eating dicks on the beach or like starfish being slang for butthole,
Yeah.
like those are like everything you want. So it's just you have to like, in my opinion, some stuff can't land for all the other stuff to land. But maybe that's just my feel.
That scene with Ratcatcher, that actually made me think, I don't think I'm gonna like this character just because she said that about the the projector. So I was like, no,
Yeah.
she's just gonna be cringy the whole time.
Right.
She's a millennial. She sleeps all day. She doesn't know
Right.
shit. But she grew on me. So
Yeah,
I was
she
glad that it came through because
For sure.
I think
Sure.
John Cena had some good lines about the millennial shit, though.
Right,
too.
right.
Fucking hobbyists. That was fucking
Yes.
hilarious.
Yeah.
God, John Cena, you blew my mind, buddy.
Right? I saw
Damn.
a review that said, I can't believe James Gunn spent his budget just making sure John Cena is C. Oh my gosh. But yeah, John Cena, man.
Shocked.
I remember growing up just watching WWE.
I know, right?
I had a phase in high
Yeah.
school.
Okay,
It
same.
was rough, but
Dark phase.
yeah,
It's
like
rough.
everyone had like One Direction on their wall. I had like half naked.
Right.
Stone Cold Steve
WWE.
Austin.
Oh yeah, man.
Triple H was my favorite.
I feel that Rey Mysterio and
Yeah.
shit. Yeah. I was
Oh.
into
Yeah,
that.
I never
had a
got in-
wrestling phase.
Yeah, I never got into it.
I only got into it because of a friend and
Yeah.
all those guys. Yeah, I was
Out
into it.
slap fighting though.
Oh.
Shit.
Yeah.
I can get behind slap
I
fighting.
love it now because like I've literally watched videos where like the refs will drop like razors because they're trying to get blood, but
Yeah.
to
Oh,
show
yeah, dude.
for the fight and stuff. But yeah,
Like, you can tell, like, why some wrestling people can be actors. Because it's all an act.
Yeah.
So
Right.
if you can
Yeah.
translate some of that to be,
it's a
like,
performance
dramatic.
art. Yeah, and it comes. I think the fact that The Rock and him have broken through.
Right.
Yeah,
you know,
and
like-
Batista.
And with
Yeah.
the
Right,
with the
right.
right direction, they can be pretty good.
Right.
in the
Exactly.
right
Put him
role.
in the right
and-
role.
Yeah.
I mean, Batista in 2049, the small role that he had in there showed potential.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
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 So,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
It's
he's in the new
possible.
Dune. Like a
Yeah.
lot of people are in the new
He
Dune,
is?
but
Yeah.
yeah,
yeah.
he is.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm excited to just see. I'm excited to see that movie in general. But yeah.
The new Dune's coming
Yeah, I
out.
wanted
Yeah.
to read that too, but
I
I'm
know,
actually
right?
listening
I
to
don't
that
think I
right
can do
now.
it.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
because I wanted to listen to it before I watch the movie. I don't think
Right.
I'll get it finished because
Yeah.
Kind of long.
it's long.
Yeah.
I think it's only like 12 hours, so I guess it's not as long as what I'm used to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But maybe it's
Well,
24.
I mean, the movie's being split up in 2 parts, so it's probably
Is
gonna
it?
be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God damn it.
I'm going to watch the original Dune before we go see
Yeah,
that.
Same.
too, so.
Same.
When
you
is it
guys wanna
coming
do
out?
Yeah, is that on HBO? I think.
It's October?
No.
Okay, I have
November?
time. We have time.
Is it?
Yeah, it
This
got pushed
fall?
back to October. I'm
I know it
pretty
got pushed
sure.
back a little
Yeah.
bit more.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's around the same time as James Bond.
Oh, yeah.
Dude.
Forgot about that one.
Excited.
I've been hearing so much talk about just people wanting Idris Elba to be a
As Bond.
new incarnate.
If he
Yeah.
is, I'm gonna start watching
I'd be down,
it.
right?
I,
he's
I don't know.
got-
Daniel
It's too
Craig.
old.
Is
I do like Daniel
top
Craig.
notch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the most recent I've seen was Skyfall, and I
Oh,
really enjoyed
beautiful
that
movie.
one.
That's a great one.
Very,
I've never seen any
What?
James
Yeah.
Bond movie.
I haven't seen any of the old ones. I've
There's so
only seen the
much.
Daniel
I
Craig
don't think
ones.
I'll ever go through all of them.
No.
Yeah.
One of my buddies did, and I watched like some of the early stuff, but
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
Some
I don't
of
know
it
how
just-
people do it.
Right.
No.
I tried to.
Some of
I-
it
even
literally-
Pierce Brosnan. Oh,
Yeah, and it just feels like the kind of male gazy, womanizing kind of
Right.
thing. I
Yeah,
don't
it's-
know if
it's
that's
pretty
like
bad.
Pierce
right.
Brosnan, really?
Maybe not then. Well, I
Oh.
mean, still, it's James Bond.
just
Right.
Daniel Craig brings something else, like breaking. It was Casino Royale was his like break-in one, and it
Yeah.
was just like this brings it to a whole new level.
Yeah,
Just took it
Casino
more
Royale
seriously.
yeah.
was the one that captured me for him.
What was it?
Casino Royale.
Oh,
That was the
yeah.
one that like I was like in with. I was like,
Right.
yeah, all right, I'm cool.
And then
with
they
this
had
guy.
the stinker, and then they had the best in my
Ups and
opinion.
downs, ups and downs.
Right.
And then they had the stinker. So hopefully this one's a good one, following the trend.
Yeah, we're-
Right,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
I'm
Pretty good.
down.
But anyway, I think we got off on a small tangent there.
Yeah. I just want to say one of my favorite movies of the year,
Yep.
Suicide Squad.
Suicide
Yeah.
Squad.
It's in my top 10 list
Yeah.
for this
Yeah,
year.
for sure.
Mhm.
Just and like I know for a person like me, this movie was like almost written for me. Like this is
Mhm.
something I would like to write. I would have a great time writing.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
just action, death, jokes, aliens, like
All
it's
about
like
it.
exactly even for me.
Got
Right.
it all. Yeah.
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 Very cool.
I'm just glad I watched it, and because I think we've seen a couple in the theaters, and I don't think I've enjoyed it as much as this one.
Mm.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's so nice to just be in the theater and just
It,
watch
it
Right,
was
for
a
sure.
lot of fun
Yeah.
theater
Oh, so
experience.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, mine was a little dampened because there was a bunch of kids there. Like, who drops your kids off? The rules state on
Oh.
AMC
Yo.
after 7 o'clock, nobody under the age of fucking 16.
And this is rated R. I
They
mean,
weren't accompanied by a
Yeah.
parent.
No,
there were
no
like
parents. There was
5-year-olds in front of me.
right.
the
There was a
hell?
whole row behind me. When they saw the dick, they were like,
Oh, I
it's like,
forgot about
"You haven't
the
seen a dick before.
Oh my gosh.
Grow up."
And they kept going to the bathroom and getting popcorn. I
Oh
was like,
man,
Oh,
that's the
God.
worst. Yeah.
But
Other than that, it was a good experience.
Good experience.
Nice.
Damn kids.
Yeah.
Anybody got anything else to say about it, or
No, it
No.
was good. I was shocked.
Yeah.
I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah,
All the
for sure.
characters hit good for me.
Idris Elba,
Especially
amazing.
Harley Quinn redeemed herself.
Yeah.
That was refreshing.
Right.
Yeah, I liked
So-
her a lot in this one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was probably her and John Cena biggest takeaways.
Yeah.
So I guess the writing, I guess I should
Right.
say,
Yeah.
is the biggest takeaway.
I was
It's just
wondering
a-
too, is like, am I giving, like I said earlier with Free Guy, am I going in with the right expectations? Because I know James Gunn wrote and directed this, and I'm
Yeah.
already willing to give him a little bit of more leeway.
Yeah.
And
Right.
maybe
Right.
that affected my viewing in a more positive way. I
Right.
just wonder like how much knowing the creator behind it already affects your
Mhm.
viewing.
I think
Yeah.
it does a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
if you know somewhat to expect, I mean, that's why, like, well, we'll get into our director's dive, but, like,
Yeah.
you know kind of what you're going to get into
Right.
out of
Mhm.
something.
Yeah.
Which, for me, this humor was much better than the Marvel classic humor, where it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
you know, Marvel humor is Marvel humor.
Mhm.
And I don't want to say, actually, me and my friends talk about it all the time. Guardians of the Galaxy paved the way for Marvel
For
humor,
sure.
but
Yep.
they can't hit it like James Gunn can.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it just comes off as corny. The only one
Right.
that
It's not
got
their style.
close was Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah. I
Mhm.
was going to say
And
those
even then, it
two-
was just okay for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
I get
So, but then, I mean, obviously, there's Tony Stark's character, but that's just his character.
Right, that's just
Robert
RDJ
Downey,
doing,
yeah.
his,
Yeah.
doing his thing.
So I like that's what I liked about the two differences between like the Guardians and then this. This humor is more up my alley.
Yeah.
Mhm.
For
Rather
sure.
than
It-
the
it-
lighthearted Disney shit.
Totally feels just like a darker extension of his Guardians.
Right.
Right.
And that's perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, if you've seen the first one, I mean, that's a pretty low bar. Like, I was going into it, I was like, it cannot be worse.
There's
than
nowhere
the
to go
first
but
one.
up.
Right. Like,
Yeah.
Mhm.
No,
So-
absolutely. That was so forgettable of a movie. We went to a drive-in. After we left, I was like, I couldn't probably tell you anything about
Right.
that movie.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
off the top of my head, besides the fact that I think it was Jared Leto's worst role.
Yeah.
He gives me the heebie-jeebies. I'm just saying.
He's a
Especially
greasy
as the Joker.
Ugh, ugh.
It was just sad. And then you get the Zack Snyder Joker of him, where it's just like, Zack Snyder, just stop.
Don't get me
Stop
started.
doing this shit.
We don't need to bring Zach in
We gotta
here.
Sorry.
end this before we
Yeah,
get on
sorry,
Snyder,
sorry,
dude.
sorry.
No.
Ooh, all
Sorry to
right.
trigger everybody.
Yeah, maybe we can
Fucking
talk
Zack
about
Snyder.
like our worst movies of the year at the end of this year.
Yeah.
That'd be kind
And
of
then
fun,
we can just
Oh
bitch
my gosh,
about.
yes.
Yeah.
Because I have 2 Snyder movies on my list this year. So.
I
What's his other
know one of them
movie?
because I would agree with one of them.
Oh,
Army of the
Justice League. Oh, and
Yeah.
Army of the Dead.
Army of the-
Oh, I forgot
So
about
many
that one.
problems with that movie.
That was.
But yeah,
we'll
that-
get.
Yeah, that. Especially
Anyway.
the Snyder cut. We got to rip that thing to shit.
yeah, I feel you.
Sorry.
All right, but
it's a
in
movie.
other DC news, I think this was one of the best ones that they made.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
wish that I hope that they continue just making good movies and
Right.
not giving a fuck about the
Find
universe.
good creators.
Mhm.
Don't conform to what Marvel's trying to
Marvel,
do.
yeah.
Right.
Just start
Right.
making better stuff.
Mhm.
And it's just
I mean, look how well this is doing. I
Right.
mean,
Right.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
critically and just I don't know
Mhm.
about box office because it was released on HBO, but like
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
You don't have to be Marvel. You don't have to be Disney.
Mhm.
Right, it's
You don't
one
have
of
to
the
be
most-
cookie cutter.
Right.
Right.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
Fucking
You can go your own way. Just sing the whole song. Yeah.
But let us know your thoughts on the Suicide Squad, because I don't want to hear about Suicide Squad. Just
Yeah.
the Suicide
Duh.
Squad. Yeah.
Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Definitive version.
Thanks for listening, guys. We'll see you in the next one.
Oh, also, if you like this video, like it, and if you don't like it, let us know why.
Yeah.
Oh, God.